you. It's been just a day since the U.S. Department of Justice announced the city of Phoenix and the Phoenix Police Department have a pattern of constitutional violations and have been violating the law for years. One of the biggest problem areas, the city's treatment of those who are homeless. The I-Team's Erica Stapleton has been examining the DOJ's full report, and Erica, their findings are historic.
Yeah, Tram, this is the first time the DOJ said it found violations of constitutional and civil rights of the homeless population, and the findings aren't pretty. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark didn't mince words.
The criminalization of homelessness has no place in our society today.
After a nearly 3-year investigation where the DOJ said it reviewed reports, body camera, ride-alongs, police and community interviews from roughly 2016 to present, the DOJ found that the Phoenix Police Department unlawfully arrested, detained, and ticketed people experiencing homelessness. The DOJ said it noticed a pattern of police stopping unsheltered people without reason, or waking people up who were sleeping outside before dawn to run warrant checks. The DOJ finding more than a third of the police department's misdemeanor arrests or citations from January 2016 to March 2022 were of people experiencing homelessness.
This behavior is not only unlawful, but it conveys a lack of respect for the humanity and dignity of some of the most vulnerable members of our society.
Then there's the encampment cleanups. The DOJ found the Phoenix police unlawfully seized and destroyed belongings of unsheltered people, like personal documents or clothes and blankets needed for survival. Over the past few years, the city's changed its approach to tackling homelessness, notably with investments in shelter space and new methods for cleaning and clearing encampments. The city responded in a letter to the DOJ, saying they need time to digest the findings, but that the city and department today are, quote, materially different than the department they investigated.
And Erica joins me now for the backstory. Erica, I'm glad you mentioned as well, even before the findings came out, that the city has really done a lot of improvements already. Explain what they've been doing.
Well, Tram, even just a few years ago, the city of Phoenix didn't have an Office of Homeless Solutions. I think it's important to note that the homeless population has really gone up over the past several years. It's been exacerbated by the pandemic, and there are a lot of issues to tackle. They're not just people who need shelter space, who don't have homes. There's drug addiction, there's issues with other substances, there's mental health. Yeah, so there are a lot of things to take into consideration there when the city is responding, and it's not just city services, it's the police department too.
Absolutely. And clearly, this issue is not as black and white as it seems. What are the challenges, though, that the city is facing while responding to people who are homeless?
Every person's situation is unique. That's something I've seen as I've been on the streets reporting on people who have lost their housing, lost their jobs, who are experiencing issues with substance use, who might be in a mental health crisis. So there are a lot of things that, again, not just the city is dealing with, but police. And I've sat down with the commander who oversees the area that was the zone. That was the former homeless camp here that was broken up last year, I should say. And then I've sat down with the people who work at the Office of Homeless Solutions, and I'll say that they are trying to do everything they can when it comes to cleanup and approaching this with services in a way that is mindful of people's rights. But it's very challenging, and I want to point out too that there are some legal issues they have to consider, whether they can remove someone from camping. That's an issue being debated by the Supreme Court of the United States right now. So there's a lot of factors to consider here. And I want to note too quickly that the DOJ's investigation, they laid out for us where they got their findings from. It was hours of body camera and reports and ride-alongs, and the findings, it kind of hits that at a broad level, but we have not seen what those are. We haven't been able to review those ourselves. So these findings, again, are just findings, and we're waiting for the city to respond to those findings and whether they might have something different to say.
Yeah, and we clearly know that this is not something that happens overnight, these changes. I mean, this is years in the making, and I know you've got a lot more coming up at 6 o'clock.
All right, thanks, Tram.
Erica, thank you.